Welcome to another inspiring episode of Step into Success, a men's forum on personal growth. Today, we're going to delve into the journey of self discovery, exploring the limitless potential within each one of us, right? And uncovering the tools to overcome life's challenges. Whether you're feeling stuck or uncertain or simply seeking a renewed sense of purpose, this episode guides you through a practical steps, many of them, until you can unlock your full potential. And before we get started, I want to let you know that we do have a worksheet. So click on that below and grab that and work along with us.
I'm super excited to get started. I'm Christine Bernat, stress management coach, and with me I have
Anna Marie Giorgio, your next chapter coach, I should say, because we're talking about next steps.
excellent. So many of us underestimate our capability due to limiting beliefs, societal expectations, or past experiences. The truth is, your potential is far greater than you realize.
Oh, yes. Oh, that is so profound. It really is. Because, the role of mindset in personal growth is how your thoughts shape your reality, right? It's important to know that our everything's created. I know I say this all the time. So forgive me, but don't forgive me, right? Because our thoughts are the first thing that we have to create anything, and it does shape our reality.
Yes, it does. So, another thing that's super important is to pay attention to our self awareness, our self belief, and our worthiness. Let me ask you, what limiting beliefs are blocking you? And a limiting belief, in case you're not aware, is something that maybe your parents told you when you were small, or in your community it was said. It could be something about, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. And then you're stuck with that in the back of your mind, and every effort you take forward blocks you. Here's a reflection. I would like you to write down one negative belief that you have about yourself. Just take a second right now. Write that down because we will lead you through some steps to help you, to support you, and guide you on that journey.
Absolutely. And let the first thing that pops in your head, that's what you want to write down. Don't go looking for one, but the first thing that pops into your head. And so we're going to talk about the power of visualization and intentional goal setting. Athletes and high achievers use visualization. So why shouldn't you? Robert Kennedy says, some men see things as they are and ask why. He says, I dream of things that never were and ask, why not?
Mm.
Right? So set a clear goal. What does your best life look like? Write that question down and come back to it in a little while and say, what does your best life look like?
That's a beautiful thing to reflect on because do we really take the time to do that?
Right. We don't.
So yeah, we don't.
And
So
I
yeah,
will
go
tell
ahead.
I was going to say, and I will tell you that we don't do that because it's taught out of us. We stop giving ourselves permission, right, to look at our best life. What does that really mean for me? Because I remember daydreaming in school and they would, stop doing that, come back to reality. And so we've been taught not to look at what's best for us or to even imagine it.
Yeah, so that's a limiting belief that was ingrained in you
Yes.
because of school, because what was said in school, because the teacher needs you to learn, needs the whole group to be learning,
Right.
and and the setting is not the same now, but our brain still has that stuck
Yes.
in there, and that's what we need to pay attention to so that we can just open up the doors to our success, to step to
Yes.
our success. So start by identifying what you tell yourself you can't do.
Yeah.
These thoughts often sound like, I'm not good enough, I don't have the right skills, it's too late for me to start. There is no too late. This
Right.
doctor, what's her name? She's 102 years old.
Mm,
Garcia. Oh, I'll look her name up and put it in further on, but she is amazing. She's a holistic doctor and she still supports people today at 102.
that's
So don't
amazing.
say it's too late for me to start.
That's right.
Let's write down and examine where they originated from.
Yeah.
Did someone tell you this? Have you ever truly tested its viability?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Once you've identified these, right? When we write them down, we can look at them clearly. And when we identify the limiting belief or the habit that we have, right, we can challenge it with a new perspective. This is my favorite part. So you ask yourself, is this really true? Or is this a story that I've accepted?
I
Right.
love that question.
Yeah, here's another one. What evidence do I have that contradicts this belief? So if you say to yourself, I don't have the right skills, what are you doing today because you taught yourself those skills,
Yeah.
right? So then you can say, what would I tell a really good friend who was thinking this way? So what would you tell someone, right? If I said, I'm just not good enough. What would you tell me? What would you tell me?
Mm.
Right? So we want to replace the limitation with an empowering belief. If you're saying, I'm not smart enough, shift to, I am capable and I can learn anything I set my mind to.
Now that sounds more like you, Anna Marie.
Yeah. Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And it's not,
once you
and
go
Christine,
ahead.
let me just add this in there really quick. It wasn't something you just said that sounds like you, right? It wasn't something that I, was just doing my whole life. I realized I was talking to myself in a negative way. And so
Yes.
once I started talking to myself that I am capable and I can do these things, it changes the vibration of who we are, the energy that we carry.
Totally. Totally. And it even changes who we attract in our lives.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Absolutely. It's energy for energy, right? If we're down on ourselves, we're going to find people that are down on us or themselves, right?
And
Cuz
pay attention to who's calling you to
yes.
complain about something or to
Yes.
change your vibration, and they're not showing up in your life.
No.
Try and just notice this
Yes.
so that you, can anchor in your new identity,
Yes.
shifting
Yes.
from "I'm someone who struggles" to "I am someone who overcomes." Yeah, I like that.
That's exactly.
Affirm your belief daily. Visualize yourself achieving what once seemed impossible, and soon your reality will begin to align with this vision. And I have go ahead
Can I
and
just drop in something really quick before
yes,
we
go
move on?
for it.
So, just like when we were babies, and I talk about these things all the time, and you'll hear me talking about these things often because I don't teach something just one time and move on, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like if you watched a movie and you go back and you see parts of that movie, right? So,
Yeah.
when we were babies, we didn't know we couldn't. We just did what we wanted to do. So, we began to walk. We would fall down, of course, but we got up and kept going and kept going and kept going. So, keep that in mind when you're looking at what my new identity is, because you have it all inside of you and you can move forward as high as you'd like to go.
And to support that and go even deeper,
Yeah.
I self regulate. So if
Mhm.
I have a new belief saying I am strong, I am courageous, but I breathe into my body and I listen. Is there a resistance to that? Is my gut going, yeah, that's not true? Or are
Right.
my thoughts saying that? So that's when I do the snap, breathe in, ha, relax the shoulders, and exhale that into the spiraling train, that feeling in your gut that it's not true. And then say your sentence again. I'm courageous. I'm strong. Is
Yes.
it still churning in your tummy? Is your toes all crunched up? I don't know. Are your shoulders up to your ears?
Right.
So then do it again. Then relax and exhale that onto the spiraling train, knowing that it will be brought down into the magma to be burned. And
Yes. Yes.
breathe in the possibilities.
Yes.
Like, go with that because it's super, super important that we release all that negative charge or all those thoughts. And I think last time we did talk about this where you can snap and you
Mhm.
can tap around the ears. So you make a C shape and you place it close enough around the ears, not like super big. And you breathe in and you see those thoughts that come up because sometimes it won't be a feeling in our body. It'll be all these thoughts. And you send them up into the hot air balloon. And then see yourself pulling on the fire cord
Mhm.
and all those thoughts being burned up. The imagination, you talked about imagination earlier. Imagination helps you and your brain accept that it has been released and it's gone. It's like
Yes.
releasing the energy, releasing the words, releasing the feelings that go with the new identity that you're creating.
I
And
love that.
remember, yeah, you're not limited to your past, you're not limited to your doubt, nor the opinions of others, especially others' opinions who think what you want to do is impossible, who think, who are they to know? It's impossible for them, but does that mean it's impossible for you? I mean, if Thomas and Edison had listened to that, we wouldn't have the light bulb today, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we talk about him a little bit later too about that. That's exactly right. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
our
you are
imagination grows.
yes, it is, and there's been tests. There's a basketball coach quite a while back in 19 something who did a test with a basketball team, a quite competitive team, with three divided into three groups. One group did nothing, one group practiced, and one group visualized being able to do their three pointers. Now, the surprising thing is that the ones that visualize did almost as good as those who practice.
Yeah.
So imagine if you practice and visualize.
Yep.
So this coach learned that practice and visualization were what his team needed.
Yes.
So without further ado, these limiting beliefs or these, yeah, that you chose to accept and throw out onto the spiraling train or the hot air balloon, I'm going to have Anna Marie lead us in a meditation to
Yes.
create. What do you want to create in that meditation, Anna?
Well, we're gonna generate some state here. And what we're
Okay.
gonna do is we're gonna bring our feeling tone, our vibration, our frequency in a harmonious life with the results that we would love. So,
Oh,
yes.
excited.
So if we came here to if you've come and you're stressed, right? Or you feel like you're rushed or overwhelmed and it's just hard to be able to receive what Christine and I are sharing, anything that you read, anything that you're working on. So you can do this anywhere when you feel that you're just not in alignment. All right, because we want you to have a great episode like all of our episodes, and we want you to feel supportive and valued, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to Well, if you're not driving, I invite you to close your eyes and take in a deep breath through your nose, which supports our nervous system, right? And then we're going to breathe out slowly as if we're breathing out a straw. And we're going to do that one more time. Then you're going to continue to breathe normally, very comfortable with your eyes still closed. All right. And like I said, this is a template you can use anywhere to match your vibration of what you would love. So start thinking thoughts of gratitude. I know there's many things that we are grateful for, but I really want you to hone in on one that really resonates with you. And then we're going to add to our gratitude a proud of. What is a proud of? Something that you've accomplished, something that you have finished, and you're really proud of that. And we're going to add that into the vibration of the synergy between gratitude and the action. The proud of acknowledges the part of ourselves that has taken action, the part of us that is in human form and can even take action to serve our dreams and our goals. Because action is not a given, right? We have a gift of free will, and that means that we can do what we want when we want, right? In order to take an action, we use our mental faculty of will by giving ourselves a command and following through with the action. And it's essential to acknowledge that part of us. So now that you have your gratitude and you're proud of, let's go ahead and take one more deep breath through our nose, out through our mouth. Gently open your eyes. Beautiful work. I love that. It's one of my favorite. It aligns us to what it is that we're grateful for. So we have the grateful. There are different levels of energy, and you can have down here at the bottom is fear, frustration. At the very top is enlightenment. And in between those are different levels of the vibrations that we want. But we want to bring in the gratitude because when we're grateful, we see more things that are grateful, right? We can have that synergy. And then when we start talking about being the proud of, right, it reminds us of that vibration or energy. So we can take that proud of energy and put it in the situation that we're looking at right now, the challenge that we may be facing. So we would love it if you would put your comments below, something that you're grateful for and something that you're proud of.
And I'm super excited because it's the first time I do this meditation with you, Anna Marie. And I love that you integrated the imagination in
Yeah.
there, going back to get that. And that feels so good. And it reminded me that last Friday afternoon, I was like feeling so I went into town. We have a new bakery, tried the delicious bread they had a cup of tea, and then all of a sudden I decided to type in my phone everything I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And by the time I left, I was so, like,
Yes.
grateful for all the amazing things that I've accomplished, the amazing things that have happened in my life, and it shifted me into that part of me that wanted to go back into victimhood, which
Right.
and pulled me back into the empowered self that I
Yes.
am.
Yes. And that's what gratitude does for us. It
Yes,
lifts us up as we're all spiritual beings having a human life, right? And so
yes,
it lifts that up so that our human life can then match that, right?
yes,
We want to match that because
yep.
life is full of obstacles, right? But that, how do we respond to them determines our success, right? Our thoughts turn into our results, right? And we want to have success.
Yes. So there are many strategies to developing resilience in the
Mhm.
face of adversity. Because I mean, as humans, definitely, we've got learn lots. However, let's start by learning from our failure instead of fearing it.
Mm,
So, what does that mean? It means to redefine failure as a feedback. It's not a failure. Oh, I got feedback. I did this. I got this reaction. This
yeah.
is not what I was looking for. Oh, okay. So it's about seeing that, instead of seeing it as a failure or as a dead end, view it as information that helps you improve. So, how can I improve from this?
Yes.
You can ask yourself also, what can I learn from this? You can shift from I failed to I gained valuable insight. Okay, I'm doing some lives. Oh, I'm getting some views. Am I getting as many as I want? Maybe not, but I'm getting views. Yay,
Hey.
celebrate that. But then as well, what valuable insight am I gaining? Because some lives will have more successes, others won't. And where is that? As well, I find, of course, I will self regulate, right? If my mind is unable to shift into and seize the dead end and get stuck in there, this
Yeah.
is where I will snap, tap, relax the shoulders, and zap that out. Or if I don't want to self regulate, like it can happen on Friday, sit down, do a gratitude journal, or you can come back to this recording and do Anna Marie's meditation from just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
But then there's also, you might want to just sit down and read a good book
Yeah.
about a top leader. Because when we read that, we are filling our mind with different perspectives. Somebody who leads the way you want to lead. So an example could be Bob Proctor. It could be David Asprey. There are so many. Choose one that inspires you
Yes.
so that your mindset can go from failure isn't a reflection of my worth. It's a tool for growth.
I
So
love
the
that.
growth mindset. Yeah,
Yeah.
growth mindset. Who do
Yep.
you want? You can even Google on Audible if you don't have time. If you love to run and hike and you have time to sit for a book, get get them in your ears. Like listen to the book.
Yeah.
You
Audio.
know,
Yep.
I Yep. Sorry, go ahead. I'll let you say
No,
something. I'm just
I
going
was
and
just gonna
going.
say that's what my husband does. He doesn't have a whole lot of time to sit down and read, but he'll turn it on while he's driving, while
Yeah.
he's walking, while he's working out. He will listen to it at those times. Yep.
Yeah, and it's so much more, and I put them on as I'm falling asleep. You can put a timer, 15 minutes,
Yes.
and even if I fall asleep in 2 minutes, it's okay. Whatever my mind is hearing is positive feedback.
That's correct.
So,
Our
it's very
subconscious
good.
mind never shuts off. It just collects data. It's like the hard drive on our computer. It just collects the data. And so then we can recall that without remembering that we listened to it, but it does help to listen while we sleep. It's true. Very good. Yeah, so we can separate failure from identity, right? My failure is not me. Failing is just something that happens, right? It's not something that um, I'm not the failure. Let me put it that way. I'm not the failure. The process I took was a failure, and now I've just learned from that, right?
That is so important, Anna Marie. What a beautiful distinction.
Yes, yes. And instead of saying something like, I'm not good at this, say, I haven't mastered this yet. It was like signing your name for the first time, right? You haven't mastered it. From my signature from when I learned in school to my signature today is completely different. So it's something that grows within us. It's something that I learned how to do it, and now I'm mastering it the way I want it to be, right? Your abilities and your intelligence can grow with effort, right? Embrace the learning process. Shift your mind. You know, you are not your mistakes. You are your ability to rise and learn from them. Keep that in mind.
Yes, you are your ability to rise and learn from them.
Yeah.
So let's step into analyzing and adjusting
Okay.
so that we can do that, right?
Yes.
So failure is useful only if we learn from it. Because if we fail and we stay there, well, then we're done. I mean, you know,
Right.
who what I can't remember who it was that said, if you're not taking a step forward, you're actually moving back.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's what happens is that we try to take if we get stuck where we are and we don't one baby step will get us up Mount Everest. One baby step forward. What happens is that we start moving back into what we didn't do and move back a little further and what did they say I did or did not do? And so we get stuck and it takes us backwards. Yes.
Yeah. And lose some self-confidence, which is the opposite that we want. We
Yes.
want you to ask what worked, what didn't.
Yes.
And if you're unable to do that because your mind is going, what do? Self-regulate,
Right. It's right.
relax, calm the amygdala down so that you can do and
Yes.
ask yourself, what worked, what didn't, what will I do differently next time,
Yes.
right? Make these mini adjustments or big. Sometimes they need to be big and try with new insights. It's about
Yes.
releasing those unconscious fears. And when you self regulate, even though you can't remember what that limiting belief was way back then, it's okay. Because as you tap on some meridian points to calm your amygdala, it's doing the work for you. You don't
Yeah.
need to know everything that you want to release. Just put the intention. I don't know what is bugging me. I can feel it in my body. I feel the tension. Well, let's put the tension into the spiraling train and let it go.
Yeah.
Breathe in or do Anna Marie's meditation that she did earlier. Those are great things. So
Yes.
the mind shift that we're focusing on is failure is a lesson in disguise. Use it to improve.
Yes, yes. I love that. A lesson in disguise, right? Because if we don't focus on the failure, we learn on what did I learn from that? And that helps us improve. I absolutely love that. So let's develop some resilience through repetition. Most success stories are built on multiple failures. We mentioned this earlier. Thomas Edison failed 9,999 times before inventing the light bulb. So 10,000 times he finally got it. And let's talk about Oprah. She was
Mm,
told that she was not fit for TV. So what did she do? She created her own um, platform, right? Her own station, and she became a media icon. And how about J.K. Rowling's? She wrote the book Harry Potter and all of its successions, right? But she was rejected 12 times before she got out there, right? So the mind shift that we really want to look into is every failure is one step closer to success. Now, I don't know, Christine, if I've told this story before, um, but I'm going to give a short version of it. A gentleman goes out and he hears that there's gold, 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 and he buys this land, big, big land, and he digs, digs, and digs, and he finds a ton of gold, and he digs, digs, and digs, and he finds more, and he's a billionaire by now, and he keeps digging and then hits a dry spot, and he goes another few feet, and there's nothing there, right? And he goes into town and he says, I think it's all dried up. I'm going to sell my land. I've made my billions. I'm out of here. And he sells the land. And so the gentleman who bought it
mm,
starts digging where he left off. And 3 feet later, he found more gold and continued and continued and continued and had more and more gold. The point is that when we get stuck where we think we are, you know what? I'm at 9,999 times and I say, okay, I'm done. I cannot create a light bulb. What did we just do? We stopped ourselves from reaching that one extra step to get to our goal. So it's a failure is one step closer to success. It's one step closer.
Definitely, and I love that story,
Yeah.
and I don't think you've said it, so thank you for sharing. I love that. So taking action is all about falling forward. What does
Yes.
that
Yes.
mean? It means that your worst failure isn't about falling. It's about never trying at all. If you never try at all,
Yeah.
you won't go anywhere. You're just going to sit on your couch and just say, I'm good for nothing. And how are you going to be fulfilling your passion, your mission in
Right.
life, right?
Right.
So give yourself permission to take those small, courageous steps, knowing that setbacks are part of growth.
Yes.
And
Yes.
our brain needs the dopamine from the success from these little mini steps that we take. And sometimes a mini step can be to self regulate, meditate, but sometimes it can be just doing one more post, one more call, one more little thing. And and if you need to give yourself a little reward for it, go for it,
That's right.
to finish off the day before I went on Friday to sit in the cafe, enjoy a cup of tea. I did one more thing. And
Yes.
then when I
Yes.
got to the cafe, I was like, "Oh, wow. Look at everything I did today." I was not in the right mindset, and I'm glad I took an action to get out of the house,
Yep.
to realign my mindset to who I am, and my weekend was completely changed just because of that choice that I made in that moment, not to stay where I was stuck. So each attempt, even if unsuccessful, brings you closer to your mastery. And hope without actions, no matter how small, right, don't get you very far. But hope with actions, no
Yes.
matter how small, make you move forward. So
Yeah.
connect back. What does that feel like to have hope? And what's that one mini action? Break it down. So the mind shift.
Before you jump into mind shift, one of
Yes.
the things that we can do too is while we're thinking about our goal, our dream, where is it? What is my best life? What does that look like? What would I love? If we take a moment, self regulate, move into the meditation of what am I grateful for? What am I proud of? And then think about the action steps. The, I'm telling you what, the action steps will just come flying through, right? Because you won't have anything blocking you from what's my next move.
I totally agree. That's exactly what happened, you know, on Friday. And the time that I took then, I don't usually work on the weekend, but I was so inspired that on the weekend I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that in between the other things that were planned. And it
Yeah.
was just perfect that way. So the mindset shift, you only truly fail when you stop trying.
Yes.
So we invite you to fail, learn, grow, repeat, and success is inevitable.
So true. So, so true. We've got to learn. We've got to learn what we fail from, right? We've got
Mhm.
to grow and then just rinse and repeat. Do the same thing. If you happen to have a mistake or a failure that pops up again, sit back, self-regulate, meditate, look at what it is that didn't work and then ask yourself, what can I do differently, right? So, how to reframe setbacks and opportunities for growth. We want to shift our mindset from why me? I know we've all said it. We've all said, why me? To what can I learn? What can I learn? Right? Instead of seeing a setback as that sign for failure, right? We ask ourselves, well, first, what we do is we reevaluate, right? What it is that we need. Better yet, what is it that I want? What is it that I would love? Am I going in the right direction? Right? What is the situation teaching me? What am I learning? Because we always want to have that learning part in there, right? so we can reflect on what it was and move forward, right? How can I use this experience to grow? Remember, fail, learn, grow, repeat, right? So, how can I use this to grow? And what skills or habits or mindsets do I get? And I said get, not need or want, but I get to develop to overcome this, right? And so then who can support me? Now, I am going to jump in and let you know that Christine and I are here to support you. At any given time, you have our little QR codes. You can pop onto those at any time and talk to us, right? Share what's going on so that we can help you with every setback because they hold a lesson. And when we shift our focus from frustration to curiosity,
Yes.
you empower yourself to grow. And that curiosity is, what is this teaching me?
Yes.
Right? How can I use this experience to grow? So every challenge is an invitation to grow, evolve, and become more of who you are meant to be. That person right in here, the self with a capital S. The most successful people aren't the ones who never fail.
Mm.
They are the ones who refuse to give up.
Yes.
And Christine,
Totally,
I
totally
know that
agree.
you have a story that you can share right here.
I have a story. I was told by doctors that after my 30-year career, I would be on sick leave for life. And there was this part of me, even though I kept getting more and more diagnoses, and it really, like by February 2018, I was non-functional on all levels.
Mm,
Could barely read 3 words without getting a splitting headache. I weighed almost nothing. I was disappearing. I had no muscle mass left. And I'm the girl who had done about 4 or 5 years before that Mount Washington. I had hiked. I didn't drive up. I hiked up Mount Washington for a second time. And it was like, I just
yeah.
couldn't function at all on all levels. I mean, just getting up and anyway, just to keep it really short, there was this little part of me that couldn't accept that. I just couldn't. So I started looking for out of the box solutions. And these out of the box solutions that I found were what? Well, yeah, saved my life. What brought me out of that super stuckness where I was sleeping 20 hours a day the first month and a half, and then 18 hours a day. And then by 2018, 14 hours a day. I mean, you're always in bed, you're always sleeping, you can't stay awake. I couldn't follow a conversation that asked me to think. If you said, "Oh, what's the weather like now?" Okay, I could answer that. But
Right.
if I asked you to go get the ironing board to sweep the floor, right? That's how bad my brain was. And look at me now. So, what happened? I learned to self regulate. I started by becoming a EFT master practitioner, which really calms the amygdala down. And I started believing in me.
Yeah.
And as I released the many, 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 many things that had brought me down, I started to grow, to evolve, and to become more of who I was meant to be.
Yeah.
I wasn't meant to be teaching in a school anymore. Because of my gifts, I also went on a journey to become a Talera Energy Mastery Systems coach. And because of that, discovered that I had all these gifts that I could share. But in a
Yeah.
classroom setting, there was no room for that. It's not part of the curriculum.
Right.
And that's how I came to create Snap, Tap, Zap. Super simple, super easy to just self-regulate and so much more.
Yeah,
So,
because your setback wasn't your end. It was a setup for your next breakthrough.
and that is key there, Anna Marie.
Yeah.
Things happen to us, and if we can say, "Whoa," well, of course, the first 2 years I was in, "Why is this happening to me?"
Yeah.
So I kept going downhill, right? And when I started saying, "How can I get myself out of this?"
Yes.
Right? Because in my case, the doctors didn't have an answer or their answer didn't work for me.
Right.
So, how can I get myself out of this? Where's the answer? You know? I woke up in the middle of the night and it was like, EFT Lindsay. And
Yeah.
I was so sick of waking up every night in the middle of the night with EFT that day, it was a Wednesday in February, I still remember.
Yep.
I Googled EFT Lindsay, and I got Deborah Lindsay. I paid for the course and went back to sleep,
Yeah.
and then started her training.
You
And
said 2 things, if I may.
yes,
You said 2 things. 1, it was 2 years from start to, "Wait a minute, something needs to change."
yes,
So we all get into these moments, and
yes,
some may be 2 days or 2 hours, but like Christine, it can take 2 years, and it feels like I'll never get out.
yes,
When there's a part of you that focuses in and the intention on, "I'm getting rid of, these are gone, and I would love this," that's when we can have that breakthrough. That's when we get to have that breakthrough. And I know that you're all thinking it and all feeling it. I want my breakthrough. I
yes.
want my breakthrough.
And you deserve it.
Absolutely.
And
You
we
are worthy
believe
of
in
that.
you. We
Yes.
believe in you.
Yes. Absolutely. And I'll say it again. I think we've said this before, but if you do not have enough belief for yourself, use ours because we
Yes,
have enough for you. We believe in you.
yes, we do.
All right. So, your challenge for this week, identify another limiting belief to challenge yourself toward even more success. And then, number 2 is, how will you implement this new belief in your routine? And then find an effective accountability partner, someone to check in with you and to see how your progress is going.
Mm. It's so important. I love how you said an effective accountability partner.
Yes, that's important.
Excellent. So, self improvement is an ever ending process, right? So,
Yes,
welcoming obstacles, recognizing your inner strength, and making deliberate choices can lead to profound change in your life.
yes,
Thank you for tuning in to Stepping into Success. We'd love to hear about your experiences and insights. Connect with us and share how you're stepping into your greatness. Until next time, keep growing, keep thriving, and keep believing in yourself. You've got this.
you've got this.